While patrolling the bustling Wellington Mall one afternoon, Jason, a dedicated security guard, spotted a phone lying on the floor. Curious, he picked it up and powered it on. As the screen lit up, Jason froze. The wallpaper image wasn't just any random photo. It was a picture of a baby, a face he knew all too well. Memories began to flood back, leaving him stunned and searching for answers. Jason, a 32-year-old man, had been working as a security guard at Wellington Mall for the past few years. His journey here, however, hadn't been what he envisioned. Before attending college, Jason had high hopes for his future, expecting to secure a well-paying job after graduation. But life took a tragic turn a year before his final exams when his mother was killed in a horrific car accident. Her sudden death shattered Jason's world. Growing up, his mother had been his sole parent, as his father had left when Jason was just a baby. His entire world revolved around her, and her loss sent him into a deep depression. With no financial support and no one to turn to, Jason was forced to drop out of college. For months, he grieved in isolation, barely able to pick himself up. Eventually, Jason found work as a waiter in a fancy restaurant, but the emotional weight of his loss followed him. He struggled with the simplest tasks, often messing up orders or arriving late to his shifts. His boss, Phil, had been understanding for a while, but one morning after Jason showed up late for the 10th time, Phil had to let him go. "I'm sorry, Jason. You're a good guy, but your head's not in it. Maybe you should try something else," Phil said, offering a kind but firm dismissal. With no job and dwindling savings, Jason's life became harder. He could barely afford a meal each day, and the memories of his mother haunted him at home. After days of surviving on canned food and staring at his reflection in a mirror, he had a breaking point. "Mom wouldn't want this," he said aloud to himself. "I have to do better." Motivated by his mother's memory, Jason resolved to turn his life around. 2 days later, he landed a job as a security guard at Wellington Mall. Though it wasn't his dream career, over time, Jason grew to love the sense of responsibility and purpose it gave him. He enjoyed helping people, whether it was giving directions or snapping pictures for families. And in some small way, wearing the uniform felt like a tribute to his mother, who always admired men in uniform. Christmas time at the mall was the busiest season, with families shopping and crowds bustling through the hallways. It was also the time when security had to be on high alert, as thefts and lost items increased during the holiday rush. Jason and his colleagues spent long shifts patrolling the mall, ensuring everyone was safe. One evening, just a few days before New Year's, Jason was on a routine patrol when he spotted the lost phone lying near the fountain. After picking it up, he turned it on, and that's when he saw the photo, an image of a baby he recognized instantly. "What is it?" asked his colleague, noticing Jason's sudden stillness. "This picture. It's me," Jason stammered, showing the screen to his colleague. "That's you? How is that possible?" his colleague asked, baffled. "I don't know," Jason replied, his mind racing. "I guess I'll find out when the owner comes to claim it." The next morning, instead of heading home after his shift, Jason waited anxiously for the phone's owner to appear. Hours passed, and finally, a man in his late 50s arrived at the security desk, asking about his missing phone. After confirming that the phone was his, Jason decided to follow him outside. "Excuse me, sir," Jason called after the man. "Could I ask you a question?" "Sure, son." "What's on your mind?" the man replied. "When I found your phone, I noticed the wallpaper. It's a baby, but it's me." "How do you know that baby?" Jason asked, his voice trembling. The man's face softened as he responded, "That's my son, the son I never got to raise." Jason's legs grew weak. "What do you mean?" he asked, barely able to keep his composure. "When I got out of prison, your mother told me you died as a baby," the man explained, his voice filled with regret. "She said you were gone." Jason's mind swirled with confusion. "She told me you abandoned us," Jason muttered, anger boiling within him. As they spoke, Jason learned a painful truth. His father hadn't abandoned him. He had been in prison when Jason was just 9 months old, and by the time he was released, Jason's mother had cut all ties with him. The guilt of losing his son had haunted the man for years, and he had kept the baby photo on his phone as a reminder of the child he thought he'd lost forever. That night, Jason's world turned upside down. All the anger he'd harbored toward his father was built on a lie. Over the following weeks, Jason struggled with his emotions, but he slowly opened up to his father, allowing a relationship to form. As time passed, their bond grew stronger, and Jason realized that despite the years of separation, they could still build something meaningful together. For the next 15 years, Jason and his father created memories that he would cherish forever. Their reunion had rewritten the past in ways Jason never thought possible, teaching him the power of forgiveness and the importance of letting go of resentment.